My name is Rachel, and this is my freedom story.
The abuse started around 7 or 8 years old. I'm a little unclear just because most of my memories are blocked, so I don't remember a lot. But there was a lot of sexual abuse happening to multiple members of my family, from like within our family and then from outside family friends. It was around that time that I had started initiating sex with my friends. I had tried to commit suicide for the first time and had watched a man break into our house and attack my mom. And so within all of that, my parents had gotten divorced and remarried other people, and my dad had taken my brother away from me, and then my dad died. So all of that kind of happened by the time I was 11. Things just got really dark. I started stealing and then started hurting and killing animals, and I just had all of this rage that I didn't know what to do with. And by the time I hit middle school, it had gotten quite serious. And before this, nobody knew what I was up to, and they just looked at me, and I was the sweet little blonde one who would steal something from you and then offer to help you find it. But finally, when I was in middle school, I finally lost all control and had attempted to kill several people in my middle school, and so I was hospitalized on 2 separate occasions. And that year, after all of that happened, my parents actually moved us to another state, to a smaller town to kind of start over. But once we moved, I wasn't as violent with other people, but my addiction to sex and power and control, it didn't stop. And it was about that time that I met a girl in my school who was an escort. She worked as an escort with a company when she was in 9th grade, and she had given me the number and had started hooking me up with fake IDs and what I would need to start working with this agency. And God saved me from that. Every appointment that I had, something happened. My car would break down, or I would get sick, or my client would get sick, and I actually never successfully ever went on a job. Finally threw that card away after I became a believer when I was 18. But it was still really hard. Like, I still really struggled because I kind of thought that when I became a believer, the Holy Spirit would come in me and I would automatically know what was right and what was wrong and what to do and how to follow the Lord. And I didn't. I was relying on a conscience that I didn't have, that I didn't develop. A lot of times when kids are repetitively abused or experience severe trauma when they're younger, when their brain is still forming, connections form differently than that of healthy kids. And so the things that they do and say and think are twisted. For a long time, I just kind of kept doing what I was doing because I thought I would feel convicted to stop. And so eventually I kind of just learned to read my Bible and look and be like, okay, God said don't steal, so I guess I have to stop. Or I guess having sex with people, just sleeping around isn't very healthy, so I should probably stop. Even though I didn't feel bad about it. So in a way, it was good that I learned to rely on the Word and follow that as truth and not follow my emotions, since they couldn't really be trusted at that time. So after I got married, my husband and I decided to pursue missions. And in the process, you have to go through lots of therapy and counseling and support raising, and there's just a lot involved. During our last week at work, it was a Wednesday, and it was also the same day that we were having a party with our counselors. We were like cooking a German dinner, and it was like a big send-off, a big, you guys are doing great, you can go now. And so we were prepared for that, and it was on that day that I was raped and left on the floor by a guy that I had worked with who had been stalking me for several months. Everything just stopped for us. We just didn't know what to do. We canceled all of our plans. We obviously didn't go back to our jobs. We had already trained our replacements, and we just kind of canceled everything and told our mission what happened, and we were back with our counselor the next day. And it was during this year, we had like a full year. Our mission was like, here, just take this year, forget about going to Germany right now, just work on recovery. And so it was during that year of recovery that God like gave us a whole new mission. Like he had turned this tragedy, it was like a catalyst for a whole new ministry for us. And he like showed us that he could use the passions that were in us, me as a dancer and my husband as a potter, that God would like take he would like sweep up every tiny broken piece that you have and just turn it into something absolutely beautiful. And so we had started performing together, and I had started, we had created this pottery dance together where we would like tour and we would tell our story about what happened in the attack and how God like uses absolutely every single tiny thing in your life to heal you and to minister to other people. And I loved it. Like I loved being able to share how God was healing me, and then have other women and it was mostly women, like come forward afterwards and actually tell me their stories and tell me that it gave them hope that one day that they could be okay again. I mean, the struggle is hard, but to not give up, you just keep trying, you just put one foot in front of the other. And the other day I was actually talking to someone, and we were talking about how sometimes taking it day by day is even too much. Like you have to look at it like hour by hour. Like you just make it through that hour, and you just take little steps and you don't give up and you just fight through it because it's worth it. It's worth it on the other side. And the other side doesn't mean that it doesn't still hurt sometimes. But I think it helps having the person that I'm married to and having God in my life. There's no way I would make it through without him. I mean, he's what's changed everything.